Or you can clap. Everybody loves Julia. Absolutely. Well, it wouldn't be a sermon on food and cooking if we weren't actually going to cook for you this morning. However, not all of you are going to get the grace of trying what Phil and I make for you this morning, and I apologize for that. We are not equal opportunity sharers of our food here at First United Methodist Church, if it even makes it off of our plates, right, Phil?
Or, yeah, onto it.
Onto it, yeah. Something you don't know about Phil and I is that we both enjoy to cook quite a lot, actually. We share recipes in the office and talk about some of our favorite stuff. And so as we talk about the Daniel plan this week, we're going to be talking about some very easy, simple ways that you can create food in your own house as we break down the story of Daniel this morning. And so we're excited to welcome you to Revving It Up, First Church style, as we make a egg souffle breakfast for you this morning. Okay, so this is a very, very simple recipe. And so I'm going to show you just a couple quick things, and we're going to get Phil started here as our sous chef this morning.
Je suis sous chef.
And then we're going to continue to go through the Daniel story. Now, I purchased extra large, the jumbo-sized muffin tins, because I like a larger breakfast as opposed to the regular one. So you're going to be looking at about 2 eggs per muffin holder. So that's about 12 eggs altogether there.
Eggs. So you want eggs?
Yep, 12 eggs.
What am I supposed to, what's the recipe?
So we're going to crack the eggs, and we're going to put 12 eggs in here, okay?
Okay. You
Okay.
want me to crack the eggs?
Yep, crack the eggs, and... Okay, we're going to crack the eggs the right way. Can you crack? Okay,
yeah,
we need
sure.
We need 10 more in there.
Okay,
can you do
here,
10
yeah,
more?
just-
I think.
You want the eggs beaten?
Yeah, you need to beat the eggs. Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. We can do that.
Okay. So he's going to beat the eggs here as we get started. We're going to preheat our oven to 300. That is a good way to beat the eggs there. Okay, let's try one more egg here. Can we try? Let's try to beat them a little. There we go.
You want the French way.
Yeah, the French way. Yeah, if we can do the French way there. We're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and when we're all done here, we'll cook them
You want them whisked?
Yeah, they need to. You got to have 12. Yeah, there you go. Oh, jeez. Alan's going to be really happy with us tomorrow.
Duct tape and a drill.
All right, so we need a couple more in there. If you could just get a couple more there. Okay.
Sure, I can do that.
The story of Daniel is kind of a funny story. Phil, I don't know if you know much about this story, which I'm sure you do, but, the people have been put in exile in Babylon after King Jehoiakim had given up Israel and Judah. And it's said in the scriptures that this actually happened because God allowed it to happen. The people had kind of given up and they weren't doing what they were supposed to do, and so all of a sudden, God allowed the Babylonians to come and to siege the city. And this is kind of a huge deal, right? He even took things from the holy temple and brought them into their holy temple. And all of a sudden, these 4 men, Daniel and Mishael and Azariah and Hananiah, find themselves before a different king. Have you ever met royalty, Phil?
Yeah. Once, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Kent, I really didn't meet her. We sort of like smiled. Well, she was smiling at everybody at this thing I was at when my dad was studying in Scotland. Basically, she was sitting like here, and all these people were doing Highland dances over here. And her job was to sit and smile at everyone. And we smiled at each other.
Wow. So I would tell people I met somebody like that too.
Well,
I mean, staring somebody, it looks like I've met that person this morning, right? Looking good. All right, so anyway.
But I thought, what a weird job, sitting just.
Being royalty must be rough. Sometimes you feel that way when you're sitting up here?
No, because I know these people.
Oh, okay. So anyway, we get the understanding that they're before a new king, and the king has this whole understanding of what's supposed to happen in their world, right? They're going to re-indoctrinate them. And I think one of the places that we become indoctrinated really quickly in our own homes is in the kitchen, right? We quickly learn the way that mom or dad or somebody that we love or whoever's taking care of us cooks food. So in my sister Betty's house, her son, Orion, will always know that the only way to make macaroni and cheese is in the microwave and it comes out of a plastic container, right? And that hot dogs are the greatest thing in the world as long as they're cooked like on a stovetop, maybe, right? Anything that's made comes out of a box. But I grew up in a house where nothing ever came out of a box. Everything was always made from scratch. And I'll never forget the first time, I don't know if you've had this experience, Phil, that I was expected to eat a food or something that had a totally different set of spices and everything to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
when my son became a vegetarian.
Okay, oh yeah, exactly. So his son became a I tried to become a vegetarian once. I know, it was awful. Well, I had that personal experience when I became celiac, right? I had learned to cook all these kinds of food, and then all of a sudden I had to relearn how to cook different types of food. And so this is what the king, Nebuchadnezzar, is trying to do with these people. He's trying to re-indoctrinate them so that they become royal servants of his. Oh, wow, that's a healthy pinch there. Yeah. They're like Paula Deen style, just a little bit of butter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what we want to do now, Phil. No butter up here. Remember, we're trying to eat healthy now. So we're going to take just a pinch of spinach here, green spinach, and we're going to put it at the bottom of each one of those muffin tins there. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, good job. Just want to make it a little more even. Yep.
Are we a perfectionist, Sam?
Well, just a bit, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and so then what I'm going to have you start doing is we want to chop a couple of those cherry tomatoes there. Yep. And just we'll put them right on top of the bed of spinach. Okay. So Daniel and his friends find themselves in front of King Nebuchadnezzar, and they're being forced to learn all of these new things. And one of the things that the king wanted them to do first was to start and eat his food. He knew that if he gave them the royal food and the royal drink, that it would make them strong and healthy, right? The problem is that this food is not going to be kosher. And Daniel has an immediate problem understanding what it is. Okay, you need a couple in here too.
Oh,
Yep, forgot that one. Kosher, and Daniel wanted to make sure that the food that he ate did not defile himself, right? It's kind of a silly thing that Daniel's upset about, right? Of all the things to kind of protest when you're in captivity, he protests the royal food, the best food that he's going to get the option to, he wants to protest the food. And this is where we immediately realize and learn that this isn't just a story about food. It's a story about Daniel protecting his spiritual relationship with God. Because he knows that even the smallest little aspects of his life, changing the food that he ate to please another god or another king, would cause him a lot of problems. They go so far in this stretch that they even change the names of the people. Okay, so I need now a couple avocados cut up, and we're just going to put those avocados right on top.
Were you supposed to pray the pan?
Oh, we should have sprayed the... Oh, no, you can't use pan. No.
What? Can't use pan?
See, one of the things in the Daniel plan here is that we want to use things only that have less than 5 ingredients.
Oh, so I can use it has less than 5?
Yeah, less than 5. No, you can't just cross
It's down
out...
to 5.
Okay.
It's down to 4.
It's down to 4. Oh, goodness. Daniel's name is changed to Belteshazzar, which means the divine lady that protects the king. Azariah's name is changed to Abednego, which means the servant of Nebu or Nego. Hananiah's name is changed to Shadrach, which now means illumined by the sun god. And Mishael's name is changed from who is what God is to Meshach, which means who is like Venus. Mm-hmm. They changed their names. I love my name. Phil, does your name have a special meaning to you?
Yeah, well, actually, in the Greek, Philip or Philippos means good friend or lover of horses. And but you know, in history though, Saint Philip was the. This is funny for today, but Saint Philip was the patron saint of pastry chefs.
Pastry chefs.
That is absolutely true.
Do you cook a lot of pastries?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay. So their names are changed. They're living in this land that is completely different, and they're trying to understand what it is they're supposed to do. And Daniel decides that the one place that he's going to stake his claim is on the actual food itself. Now, he goes as far to say he's going to ask the eunuch, the person that's been in charge of him, the person right there, and say, please, let me show you a different way that I could eat the food. And so he wheels and deals, and it says that the power of God was placed upon him. God helped him gain favor inside of the people who were in the court. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like God gets me favor with other people. There are people where I feel very uncomfortable talking to, and I say, God, please just help me be able to respond to them and be in relationship with them in the way that I'm supposed to. And sometimes I feel like God really pulls through there, right? God's given me gifts and graces. I like to think I'm a pretty competent communicator, but sometimes we hope that God will just bless us and make sure we're taken care of when we get into those situations. But here Daniel is staking the claim on the food, and it says at the end of this story that after everything was said and done, they were healthier than all of the other men who were brought before the king. And they were stronger because God had blessed them and saved them. Even in this exile where they are something different than what they're supposed to be, they were blessed. That's a pretty amazing story, isn't it?
That's remarkable, and I like it because it's, he's faithful, he's a man of integrity, and he goes forward.
Exactly. It makes me think about...
In spite of circumstances.
In spite of circumstances. Makes me think about the places in my life where sometimes it would be really easy to give up certain things in my life. Like praying before a meal when I'm out at a restaurant, right? I don't want people to see that, and I don't want to look awkward or different, right? And so sometimes I just lift my plate really quietly and say, thank you, Jesus. And so I think about the small things that we're supposed to do in our spiritual life that really help us get that stronger connection with God. One of the things that we're going to be learning a lot about in the Daniel plan is that it's not about the big things that we think are going to be monumental. It's not about losing weight. It's about realizing that our bodies are a temple and that it's part of God's plan that we are as healthy as we possibly can be. The Daniel plan helps us understand that food is actually a medicine for us, right? If we eat healthy food, we actually can heal our bodies in a way that gives us purpose and helps us heal. And so the Daniel plan kind of maps out this place for us and how we're supposed to eat. And they recommend that on a daily plate, when you get together at your plate, you are supposed to have 50% of that plate should be non-starchy vegetables. Pretty simple. And
so no potatoes or rice?
Well, you can just a little bit of those. But yeah, we're looking for green vegetables. We want things that are darker green, right? Beautiful in color. Avocados.
Yeah, darker color means more healthful food.
Absolutely. Then we're going for 25% of our plate being a lean protein, which could be eggs or meat, but we're looking for very lean protein. And the other 25% should be whole grains or your starchy vegetables like your potato, right? Then we want a side of low glycemic fruit, healthy fruit. Again, the darker the color, the better. Okay. And then we want to get rid of sodas and milk and anything else, and we want to switch to water or herbal teas. See, it's all about making small choices. You made a great choice there this morning.
Yeah, but I just made Mickey,
Well, that's okay. Maybe she's one of those Babylonians over there. So the last thing we want to do here with our recipe, Phil, is we want to pour that beautiful egg mix that you've whipped up just beautifully right on top there. Yep, right on top. And we want to fill them about to the rim. Okay, so we're just a little scant this morning. That's right. And I didn't use fresh onions, so you would see that Phil used a little bit of onion powder in there. Again, 100% onion powder. Little salt and pepper to taste. Yep, oh yeah, this is going to be absolutely fantastic. Salt, yep, load it up. We want to cut as much salt from our diet as possible, but we want to make sure that things are seasoned to taste. There we go. And then we're going to slip these in the oven at 350 for about 15 minutes or until the eggs are done on top. The Daniel plan is all about us picking smart life choices and finding the small things that we don't think that really matter, even in our spiritual lives, that make a difference in our spiritual lives. Like choosing not to pray because maybe we're away, or not packing our Bible when we're on vacation because it's easier not to read when we're traveling, or we don't want to make somebody else uncomfortable. It's about looking at the ways that we can grow our lives spiritually by making small choices. We invite you to sign up for the class. It's going to be fantastic on Wednesday nights. And while I go put these in the oven real fast, Phil is going to pick a studio member audience to come forward and try what we prepared for you this morning. You can do two, yeah.
All right. Brian Baker wanted to know if he was going to have food this morning. Brian, come on up. Come on up. Wow, that's a good oven.
Now you see that I learned how to cook out of a United Methodist cookbook, which means that we should have put at least a pound of Velveeta in the middle of these, right? And so that's the avocado there giving you that nice creamy feel. And so these are going to be cooked up just perfectly, a little chewy because I cooked them last night maybe. And so we're just going to invite you to try that and then let us know what you think.
Did Phil help you last night?
Yeah, he did. Phil is my sous chef. We travel everywhere together.
Just kidding.
A couple other notes about the Daniel plan is that it's easy to make things like this in advance so that you can have them throughout the week instead of getting in that crunch where you eat Frosted Flakes instead of having a healthy breakfast to get you started throughout the day. But again, here we have nice, good vegetables that are good in color. Tomatoes out of season, I always go with cherry tomatoes in the winter because they've got more color and they're going to be a little more healthy for you. Ripe avocados, farm fresh eggs, no GMO. I like free range eggs or buy them from somebody who buys them or brings them in fresh from the farm daily. And make 6 at a time and you've got them for the rest of the week.
Very good.
Very good. Thank you. All right, you guys can return to your seats and just make sure you clean up after yourselves when you're done. We're going to be traveling throughout the rest of the Daniel story in the next couple of weeks, and we wanted to have a little fun this year as we start off this new season and as we start off this very light sermon series about the Daniel plan. Remember, it's about small choices, and our faith is all about small choices too. Making little choices that help us grow in our relationship to God, whether that be by making sure we take care of our bodies, making sure that we're taking care of our soul, spirit, and mind. Brothers and sisters, this is the Word of God. Thanks be to God. Amen.